beautiful. I love that. So, okay, so when you say, all right, who's Chisa? At the core of me, I think that I am a person who I got a lot of energy. Like that's one thing. Like when people say, okay, well, what are you doing? I'm real lively, real energetic. The odds that you're gonna get something that's like bland, it's probably never gonna happen. Like I gotta be sick for something like that to happen. So I always just want to exude the energy that I feel like I have in me. And like I tell people, like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of those things. Imagine if I did. Like I stay on 10 anyway. So what if I was one of those people? I'm just like, I would be like completely out of this universe. But I just have a high level of energy. And I think that when I look at what I want people to get from me, it is, one of my tagline is give it to the people. I want the people to get that energy because what I see is a lot of people are either down on themselves. They might be depressed. They don't think they can do it. They need a little push to get out the door, and I think that for me, in the post that I put out, one of the things I always exude is confidence because I am a confident individual, but also just taking into consideration that since everybody doesn't have that, maybe you give that little boost of that to other people. And I think that for me, that's been the thing that people tend to gravitate to because I think everybody wants to be confident and we all have something that we're missing, but I feel like you can always work on whatever that thing is and always get better. So I'm just looking at always progressing, learning new stuff, teaching new things, meeting new people, whether it's online or whether it's in person. And I think that's an important characteristic that maybe some people don't have because they're scared. And if you're scared of success, then that hinders a lot of people. So I just want to do as much as I can do to be the best me every day that I can be. That's what I try to do every day.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Let me tell you something, because you did what is it, the Corona Chronicles?
Corona content, yes.
Corona content, I'm sorry. You did that the other day, and I was like, if she don't get the preaching in here, I say, wait a minute, this is exactly what I'm going through. This is exactly what I need to hear. I gotta be Amazon out this month.
There you go. Because listen, they ribs is showing right now. See, this is the biggest thing. I think that, it's so many people that talk a big game. And one of my favorite quotes, you remember when Diddy said, don't talk about it, be about it. That was like one of my favorite things. And I was just like, it's so many people that talk about what they want to do, what they're going to do, who they with, and they want all the accolades. And it's a lot of people that want to check off things and they want to have their name somewhere. But, are they really doing the work? And are they really putting in the behind the scenes to make what you see online match? And I'm telling you, this coronavirus has really showed people's ribs because it's a whole lot of people that are a lot more lean now because they weren't really what they were posting that they were supposed to be, right? So it's like now you really see who's really struggling. So all of the glitz and glam, once that wears off, and now, and I literally mean glitz and glam. Now that people couldn't get hair done, they couldn't get makeup done, and whatever, you seeing all of the realness of people. And it's just like, for some people, this is going to magnify who they are. For other people, you really see that some of this was just the attention that they wanted when they were out. And now that they can't get it, they're struggling. And when I'm telling you, I have seen this from women and men. This is not just women. And now you're seeing like, oh, okay, so you're not really getting it like that. That's how I look at it. And I'm just like, some people need certain things in order to be confident. They need an audience when it comes to, their marketing or whatever. And I'm just like, if you're just genuine and you just tell people the truth, the audience is going to be there.
Okay, Chisa, I'm going to tell you more about why that resonated with me so much. But before I do, tell me some of the things you got going on, because you got your hands in a little bit of everything. And I mean, look, I had to turn on post notifications for every time you post something because I said, I don't want to miss nothing.
Well, I teach basically, I don't know, almost every day. So I teach for a lot of different companies, a lot of different small business centers throughout North Carolina. And so my major focus of what I do is teaching people how to start their business, grow their business, and maintain it. And so when we look at that, I do a lot of focus on social media, a lot of focus on marketing because I love that. And that's the main thing. But then I also, if I'm not doing that, I do events. Now, when I'm doing events, they still have an educational component to it, but I've had to transfer those things to being online since we're not in person anymore. So I just look at what people want, and then I try to give that to people. So I ask a lot of questions. And people would be surprised when people say, well, where do you find more content from? It's just asking people what they want and then delivering on that. And what I always recognize is I know what I'm good at, but if I'm not good at something, I should be able to find a resource from somebody else that can provide you whatever this content is. So for me, I'm in the process of really taking time to put more virtual summits and that kind of stuff online, because it's what I do if this wasn't happening. But now I feel like it's easier to kind of reach more people, because now I might be able to get somebody that I couldn't get before because of distance or travel schedules or whatever. So I look at that. I do have a nonprofit. I'm the executive director of a nonprofit called Real Glow Getters, which helps women start, stay, and slay in business. I have a book called The 90-Day Focus, Your Action Plan for Success. That's on Amazon. It's a new book that's coming out on Wednesday this week called Amplify After COVID. And so it's basically that small business owner's guide to get into that bag, basically. And what else? I run social media for a lot of different companies. And what else do I do? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, that's the synopsis of it. Oh, okay. I also have a podcast. I'm like, I'm missing something. I have a podcast studio that's based here in Greensboro, which is the first Black-owned, woman-owned podcast studio in North Carolina. And so it's called Podbiz Studios. And my podcast, the one I love the most, is called Real Ass Affirmations. And then I have one that's called Give It to the People, which helps business owners to really get that visibility that they need and be able to tell their story. So for me, it's a lot of stuff that is in the works right now, because COVID has kind of changed and given me even more opportunity to do some things. And then I'm just really working on honing the stuff that I already had to be able to then start to create more from that and give that more attention as well.
Okay. I know that I was on the Give It to the People, and I thoroughly enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to hear it, and I was able to even join in the live that you had after that when you had the Black Belt Soap Company.
Oh yeah.
You were talking. You was doing a review, and then I hopped on, and you were talking a little bit about the Give It to the People that I was on. And let me tell you something. I just love everything you do. Everything you do. There's nothing that I could see where I didn't really like that. Let me tell you something. If I wasn't all in, like I get the post notifications, I go to your website, I'm doing all of that. Because I'm sitting up here like, you know what? There's something about you that's like nobody else that I've seen thus far. And I've met a lot of people. Your young lady, Georgie, who was on the Can't Not the Hustle, she actually had told me, she said there's a lot of people who say that they can do this and they can do that. She says, but only a few can actually get it done. And you're one of those few people who I have seen personally get it done. And that separates you from the rest.
Well, I appreciate that. But you know what? And I'm just going to be clear, transparent. One of the things that I started to see, and a lot of people, I think they don't self-evaluate. And I have been one of those people that takes on way more than they should at a time, which then sometimes can cause anxiety and stress. So going into this year, I didn't know all of this was going to happen, but every year, probably around September, October, I start coming up with like what my word for the next year is going to be, because to me, that sets the tone and intention for what I plan on doing. And so this year, my word was clarity, and I made more of a phrase. It was clarity and capacity. And I felt like, you know what, I needed to really see clearly, what do I want to do and where do I want to be? And in order for me to do that, I had to say it's certain things I just can't do anymore. It's certain things that I need to say no to a lot more than I was in the past. And in the capacity, I wanted to be able to take on more. But in order to do that, I had to do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff where stuff was like, okay, but it could be better. And I think that self-evaluation was like, okay, well, if you really know you want to be here, you got to fix this, this, and this. And this time has just really just honestly given me the time to sit down, really clearly you evaluate even more, okay, well, how is this process going to work, putting more systems in place. And it's not that things weren't in place before, but it's just now my intent is so much more focused on end result in a faster way, which means I have to replicate things. So I need a template for everything that I want to do. And so one of the things that I teach people is like, part of your business plan should be your operations. How are you going to run this if you were sick? How are you going to do things if you need to hire somebody else, or you need to have a volunteer or intern or something? And so is there, in your mind, the process is there. It's in there. You know how you do it, but you know how like you do something and then like the next time you'll do it a little bit different, and then maybe this time you'll do it a certain way. And it's like, if you had a system of how you did it every time and you check off all the boxes, you would know that everything is done and nothing was left to, you know, to chance. So I started saying, with every process that I do, let me go ahead and put that kind of checklist in and I literally put it on PowerPoint for myself so I could see, well, this is how I do everything. This is how this needs to be done. And it's made stuff a lot easier because now everything has a system and a process. And so for me, that's been the changeover. In order to do it, you have to have the capacity. And so if you have a system, it makes it much easier for you to continue to do the same things and to know if you miss something, and to be able to, you know, put stuff out faster, better, more efficiently. And so that's been the thing that I think has really helped me to be able to grow and to be able to put out so much stuff. And I mean, I don't even put out as much stuff as I could, but I think that, you know, I mean, it might not look that way to other people, because I'm always like, okay, let me hold that. Is that too much for today? Let me do a little bit of this. So now it's been a lot easier to be like, okay, well, look, this week I'm going to focus on this. Next week, let's do that. Or Monday, we're going to do this. Tuesday, we're going to do that. So it's been a lot easier, but it was sitting down and really evaluating and looking at being clear about what I wanted and the capacity on what I could really take on.
Mm-hmm.